Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy, this time once again with a StarCraft 2 replay for you guys. So no Broodwar this time, we actually go into a StarCraft 2 replay as we have a great engagement here, great international engagement here in between Finland and South Korea. So spawning here in the lower right, in the red, you should of course know who this is. It is SERRAL, the winner from the recent ASL tournament held in Katowice. Really one of the strongest, if not the strongest Zerg here. And his opponent DPG ZEST, also one of the best Protosses there is here. So very a long game we have here, very epic game here in between these two pro players. Let's just see what they will prepare for us. And we can also nicely compare here this game in between the Protoss and Scarlet in the latest replay here in between Zone and Scarlet. Let's just see the build orders here from these two players and let's just see what exactly the unit composition is going to be. Is ZEST going for those adept harassment just like Zone did versus Scarlet, and how is SERRAL going to react to that, or what exactly will the build order be here in between the two players? Currently we see of course the fast rope here out for like many Protosses. They really like to block here the first expansion point, so this is why SERRAL has of course went to the other point. So a little bit of annoyance of course early on, just like many Protosses do. We see Extractor into spawning pool here from SERRAL. We also see the pylon here into gateway from ZEST, also preparing here his expansion, his nexus, saving up here those minerals, and there is indeed that expansion at the 1 minute and 30-second mark. He will very likely of course continue with a cybernetic score here. Let's check his main. There is one gas here already being made here by him, and yeah, there's that cybernetic score. In comes the overload here for SERRAL. Pretty soon he's going to know of course what is going on. The probe still here, very much important here for ZEST, giving him information what exactly SERRAL is about to do. And we might see SERRAL now going into another expansion, but no, hold on, he's actually just moving here. Perhaps he's just transitioning into some drones here, perhaps going to bring many more drones here down. No, just one drone here. Interesting stuff here. Hold on, there's actually many more drones now finally being transferred here by SERRAL. So SERRAL waiting a little bit here with his drones, just allowing them to mine more minerals, and now finally he's coming here into this point. Let's just check ZEST once again main. He is at a 2 gas now, and we actually see a Stargate here for him. So no adepts, no stalker harassment, straight into a Stargate. So yeah, the Overlord sees this for SERRAL, so gets vital information. We will of course know that soon. Oracle, or perhaps even a Void Ray, or maybe later on some carriers will be made here for ZEST, as he's also going here into that warp gate research. We also see in the upper left part the production tab, just in case I'm missing something. You can of course see here this upgrades going on, speed upgrade and so on. Oh yeah, SERRAL taking now his natural. Let's check his main really quick. Of course there is a queen here. He might continue with some spores. Like I told you, it's going to be an air toss here strategy from ZEST, and we actually see the first Void Ray here being made. Is there Oracle already out here on the map? No, I don't see it. Just some adepts. So Void Ray first. I guess he really wants to snipe the Overlord here. We're searching for that one. Perhaps he already did snipe this one, but no, it should be at Void Ray first. There it is. No kills on this one yet. Adepts are searching the map a little bit. And yeah, let's just have a look what SERRAL is going to be doing. Another queen is being produced. Of course, he has to go anti-air here. This expansion is not here yet. No other buildings here, as he's morphing here his hatchery. So yeah, pretty standard stuff here by both players. Actually, one kill now finally into this Overlord. Sorry, Overlord, it's a Void Ray, killing that one Overlord, and he's still searching for many more Overlords here just to do some harassment. And I believe I can also see here an Oracle on the minimap. There it is. So some drones will be under attack. Spore is almost being finished, but in comes the Void Ray and the Oracle here, sniping some drones. Really nice job here by ZEST early on, snapping 3 drones. Great harassment here by him. But ZEST should of course be able to come back really quickly. There's another Spore here. The Void Ray is also being chased away here by those queens. So SERRAL does of course a nice job here, having spores and queens all over his main here. So yeah, the first harassment was pretty good. Of course 3 drones have been killed. And yeah, let's have a look at the follow-up. Some Zerglings are out, so SERRAL might also try here to attack here this expansion point from ZEST. There's just one adept here guarding here this wall. At the same time, this expansion is pretty much exposed, so this could be the next target here from SERRAL. Let's just see what is he going to be doing here with his speed. Zerglings here. Oracle still coming in now, finally snapping 2 more drones here, so that's nice harassment. But like I told you, this expansion is pretty much exposed. This is why exactly I'm pretty sure, yes indeed, ZEST is going to leave a guarding Void Ray here. He might even come back with some Void Rays. Yeah, there it is. As we see now, finally SERRAL moving here through, but there are 2 Void Rays here. Void Rays, very great counter against those Zerglings. However, SERRAL is still committing here. He's going for the gas, and finally is being pushed back here by those Void Rays. So both players harassing each other. Some drones have been killed, but in the end, yeah, it's not really so much of a big deal here. As I see SERRAL now into mass queens here, evolution chamber for those upgrades, and it looks like ZEST is already going for another harassment here with 4 Void Rays, 1 Oracle. He might do more damage now against his opponent. And yes, SERRAL really needs to prepare his defenses once again. There are those queens. Queens pretty good counter against Void Rays. Of course, with a transfusion here onto this Zerg creep. Very strong. Such a nice creep spread here as well here by SERRAL, as we are slowly but steadily closing at a 10-minute mark. So ZEST still tries to snap those drones, still tries to do as much economic damage here against his opponent. And yeah, he's even going to cancel or try to cancel here this upgrade, but no, in the end SERRAL will of course hold. There is a roach warrant here, infestation pit here as well. There's still some Void Rays roaming around. There are some Zerglings here and a nice Overseer here, giving him exactly the vision he needs to know. We as also see the first carriers now here being produced by ZEST, and this one expansion a little bit exposed, but yeah, those Void Rays are doing a nice defensive job here. So yeah, both players still checking each other out. Perhaps now they will just prepare their macro-oriented game. As you can see, it's a very long game, really nice game here in between those players. And yeah, Void Rays with Oracles into carriers, so mass air units here for ZEST. Of course, SERRAL should continue here to with some Corruptors. Corruptors, of course, a much needed unit in case you face so many air units from the Protoss. Yeah, let's just see both players at 4 bases now, closing in here onto being maxed out, closing in at a 10-minute mark. Still the Zerglings are trying to get here through to clear those rocks. And yeah, upgrades are pretty much going on. There is that level 2 already air upgrade here for ZEST, as SERRAL is still onto those queens here. And yeah, let's just see what other units he's going to be doing. Some infestors, like I told you, infestation pit. ZEST needs to be careful, he might lose some units here, as those queens are nicely targeting down Void Rays. So yeah, 2 units lost here for ZEST. And let's have a look what exactly the follow-up is going to be. I see some Vipers now being produced here by SERRAL, so interesting strategy here by him, as the Oracle once again on a scouting mission this time, just casting here this spell just to Revelance here, just to see exactly what SERRAL is doing into his expansion. And yeah, there are the first Vipers here, actually 3 of them, even 4. Really strong stuff here by SERRAL. Let's just see if those Vipers, what they will be doing, perhaps with some spells against those carriers, as they're not so much fast here. And yeah, Zerglings are still trying to roam around here, but the wall in here is really good for ZEST. As yeah, once again SERRAL with his Overseer, but we actually see some mass gateway, so this could be a transition here from ZEST into gateway units. He might go for some adapts, he might go for some stalkers. Let's see what his plans are now, as he's pretty much on a defense now, pretty much guarding here his expansions. And SERRAL just tries here to move somehow through here with his Zerglings. He might try for some Banelings perhaps just to bust here through, but a really great wall in here by ZEST all over the place, and just guarding here his expansion. We actually see some Archons now with that splash damage, also very strong here. Let's just check the army here from SERRAL, as he's going for some more, actually going for some Broodlords now, so interesting stuff here by him. not going that much anti-air here. I believe he's just pretty much relying here onto his queens. He has some spores. Those spores, of course, really great against those interceptors here by ZEST. And yeah, in comes ZEST here with his army, with his void race, with his carriers. He has, of course, some zealots just as a cannon fodder here. And yeah, let's just see. Is he going to commit in here? He's just splitting here his troops. Just searching here for that other expansion point here from SERRAL. And yeah, there it is. Going to try to go straight here through, but some Zerglings are already here. So I guess ZEST is just checking out the water here. Both players are pretty much maxed out here. SERRAL pretty much on the defense. A very nice unit composition here. Queens with Vipers and Broodlords. Actually saw so many Broodlords here, 7 of them. Really great counter against those Archons and against those Zealots here. So yeah, operates only 1 weapons upgrades. Still ZEST is of course not going to commit, as the 2 weapons upgrades here for his air units. So yeah, ZEST still roaming around here. SERRAL pretty much on the defense here. And so many Broodlords here for him, as more and more spores are being produced. Of course, spores against those interceptors here. And he also has those Vipers. Yeah, he might go into some, there it is, into some infestors here just to mind control the carriers. To mind control those Archons, as well as a small group here of Zealots are moving here through. The Zerglings are there to intercept. And yeah, some damage will be taken here by SERRAL. Some of his buildings will fall, but in the end this should be cleared, of course. As run by here by ZEST, but in the end perhaps he just wanted to suicide those Zealots just to go into more stronger units, perhaps into more mass Archons, perhaps some High Templars with Storms. But hold on, we actually have a nice counter here by SERRAL with his Zerglings. Is actually going here for this expansion. This expansion not guarded at all here. Just a couple of Void Rays finally. In come the reinforcements. But yeah, some damage has already been done as 7 probes have been killed. Still the economy here from ZEST looking really strong. And let's just see what he is going for. He still has those carriers. He still has 1 Archon here. Some Void Rays. What will be his unreal composure? Of course, a Storm here with High Templars. Really good against any Zerg in the late game here. And he also has this Prism up. Let's see what he has loaded into that Prism. Some High Templars here just to guard those High Templars. And some Disruptors here as well with those. So he's pretty much going for that splash damage here on the ground against those Zerglings. SERRAL still not moving here, just waiting here for an attack. Pretty much has a great unit composition. No Corruptors, interesting enough. As I said, is actually the first Corruptors do join here the army. Yeah, now we're about to see pretty soon the first strong engagement in between these 2 pro players. Perhaps ZEST is just waiting a little bit here longer for more energy onto those High Templars. Once again he's moving around, but at the same time SERRAL also preparing here an attack. However, some Void Rays will be able to engage this. So SERRAL on the retreat once again on the defense here, as ZEST is also not pretty much committing here. He's just waiting for more reinforcements. So many carriers here for him. And yeah, SERRAL even taking here this base. So yeah, both players not really wanting here to attack. Probes on the suicide mission here. So ZEST pretty much suiciding here everything just to get more supply. Really interesting stuff here by him, losing 13 probes now just to go straight into more units. And yeah, what is he going for? There were some High Templars here being produced. Now he's going for that blink, so he might see some Stalkers really soon. Of course, Stalkers will blink forward into those Broodlords. Those Broodlords aren't that fast. And yeah, so many Infestors here as well, so mind control would be very strong here for at least just 2 Infestors here for SERRAL. So interesting stuff. Perhaps he's going mass Fungals as ZEST is just regrouping here. Are we finally going to see the first attack? We see those Archons, so those High Templars just morphed in straight into Archons. A mass splash damage. Hold on, we actually see a recall here. Where is he going? Interesting enough here into this point. So nice teleport here by SERRAL, as he even has a mothership now. So really strong stuff here by him. And we finally see a first strong engagement here by ZEST. ZEST being the one doing the first attack here. There's also a nice spell here against his mothership. The catchery will fall really fast here. So SERRAL caught a little bit off guard. Some of his drones will fall here as well. And in comes those Broodwars just to attack those Archons, but he needs to be very careful. They are not that fast moving units, and 18 drones have been killed here. Look at that, so many drones are being killed here. I mean, some Vipers are coming through, but they're immediately being countered with those high tempers. So much nice stuff here by ZEST, and SERRAL still on the defense here, still needing more energy here for his Vipers. So yes, ZEST looks like he's just pretty much going to retreat here, so his mission was pretty much completed here. He killed 21 drones, the hatchery has been sniped here as well. As yeah, this mothership with level 3 upgrade here, perhaps he's going to try once again a recall here. Let's have a look what exactly is going to happen. Storm has been casted here, not that much damage being dealt. Let's have a look at this mothership. Really interesting stuff, but there are some units here and the mothership is in some serious trouble. Finally he's going to recall here all of his units, and there they are, but the mothership has been sniped. And yeah, such a nice job here, and finally good spell here. Parasite bomb indeed it is going to be, just for that splash damage against those carriers. The carriers are taking quite some damage, but the layer here is under the hive, the hive is under siege. And yeah, now we even see some torpedoes here against those carriers, and finally once again he's recalling all of his units. So pretty nice tactic here by SERRAL, just recalling all over the place with that mothership, and yet another mothership is being produced here by him. So yeah, once again he did snipe the hive, that was very much important here for him. Some units are being left behind with some illusions here, so interesting stuff here. He might go into mass illusions here as well. As slowly but steadily we're closing at a 20-minute mark, and we do see some Ultralisk now. Ultralisk of course very tanky against those Archons here on the ground. Yeah, ZEST just waiting now pretty much for his mothership. Once again goes for some tempers, for some void rays, so it's still mass air here from him. And yes, SERRAL looks like to transition into some Ultralisk now, Infestors, Queens, and yeah, has some pretty nice stuff here. Has his expansion here up, still mining here. But yeah, he did suffer quite some damage here. He did lose this expansion here. He also lost the hive in the main, and let's just see this expansion here also not mining here from SERRAL, as is already maxed out. Yeah, the nice army composition here for the Protoss, Archons, carriers, some disruptors, some high tempers, void rays. Really a nice mix here for him. Same can be said of course for the Zerg, Protoss, corruptors, vipers, infestors, queens, everything pretty much being thrown here, as both players will very likely meet here. Let's just see if they will engage in a nice pull here by this one Viper sniping this carrier. Of course every unit counts now, especially into the late game here, as SERRAL is pretty much going to commit in here, is going to attack that Nexus. It hasn't been cancelled here, so yeah, ZEST not really reacting to that. As yeah, once again the Broodwars, not that many still, I believe he still has 7, no actually 8 now, so still strong here. Vipers of course very much important with those pulls against those carriers here. And yeah, once again both players on the defense, pretty much SERRAL just allows here ZEST to do the first attack. They might once again meet here, let's have a look. Yeah, ZEST just leaves those Archons in the front, but a nice snipe here once again against this carrier, and even more important, this one prism with those high templars in it has been pulled back, and a nice snipe here by SERRAL, killing so much here from ZEST. So yeah, ZEST needs to be more careful here. Let's have a look what exactly his next plans are going to be. Once again, perhaps he's going to go for this expansion. This expansion is still interesting enough, not mining here from SERRAL. And yeah, are they once again going to be meet? Here we have those infested with some mind control. It will be of course a very strong unit, but only 2 of them here for SERRAL. Interesting enough. As yeah, the expansion of course has to be cancelled here. Finally we have another prism with more storms here to come. But yeah, great snipe here for SERRAL with this one pull against those prism. And finally are we going to see once again an engagement here? ZEST just roaming around once again. SERRAL still on the retreat, still on the defense here. The Broodwars are of course coming in, but they're so slow here, so yeah, it looks like of it is going to recall once again. Let's just see where. Just went up straight to this place, so nice tactic here by ZEST. just abusing here that mothership spell. Really great job here by him. This is going to be able to, of course, snap that really quick. Some disruptor shots here, not getting some connections, but yes, SERRAL has to pretty much move back forward. And yeah, ZEST knows, of course, how low those Broodwars are here. This is exactly why he's continuing here to do those recalls, continuing here to use that mothership ability here. And at the same time, we do see a nice run by here by those ultralists, but ZEST is just going to retreat with some of his units. And yeah, some probes have also once again been suicided perhaps somewhere. As we also see now, ZEST has to retreat now as his forces has pretty much been split here, and once again he's going for mass Archons, of course. Splash damage is much needed here against the Zerg, as now SERRAL is the one attacking with some Corruptors, with some Ultralisk. But there are carriers here, finally nice pull against that mothership, and the mothership gets sniped here. So yeah, good job here by SERRAL finally sniping this mothership. And let's just have a look, is ZEST once again going for a mothership, or is he going to transition into more units here? As yeah, once again the things have calmed down. We have passed the 20-minute mark here. It's still anyone games here. Look at the economy from the both players, really strong here. As in come the Broodlords here from SERRAL, but they're pretty much exposed. You know what SERRAL's plan is here. Two Broodlords have been sniped already, and yeah, even more and more will of course take damage. Finally the Queens will be able to heal them up. And yeah, it looks like ZEST is pretty much going to commit in here with mass Archons in the front, with those carriers, with that high temper storm. So much splash damage now being taken. You see once again the spells from the Vipers, the Corruptors coming here from the back, sniping those carriers here. So much damage is being taken by both players. Really strong stuff here. Of course the carriers will pretty much be obliterated here. And yeah, Storm once again on the defense here. Some Zealots are being morphed in here for ZEST. And somehow ZEST is still alive here, but there's also so many spores here for him at the same time. Nice run by once again with those Ultralords here against the Nexus and a couple of Zerglings here. So pretty nice snipe here from SERRAL against this Nexus. At the same time, ZEST perhaps really wishing here to finish the game already here with, and he has some mass Stalkers being morphed in. So really nice job here countering those Corruptors, even blinking here forward. Yes, he really wants to finish the game, but there's so many Broodwars still being left alive here. And Archons also here dealing splash damage. Great storms here. SERRAL, however, also nicely microing here his Corruptors. And in come the Ultralisk now from the back. So many hurt Protoss units here. However, reinforcements are coming in here. Both players still at the same amount here of supply. Now SERRAL is once again with his expansion in some trouble. In come the Zealots. In come the splash damage here. So many drones have been killed, 20 of them. This expansion will of course fall. This one's also not being guarded here, so ZEST might take that one out too. And yeah, so let's just have a look at the unit composition. More and more Broodlords are now being made here by SERRAL. So yeah, mass Broodlords now here for him. Look at that great number here, but he needs to be careful against that air. However, there is not much air here, it's just a Stalker, so this is exactly why SERRAL transitioned into Broodlords, just to counter those Stalkers here. At the same time we see also those Zealots here moving through, sniping this hatchery, so ZEST all over the place here. SERRAL in some trouble, losing so many buildings here. Even this one expansion might get sniped, so yeah, those Zealots are really doing a great job here. As ZEST is also moving here forward, sniping building after building here against SERRAL. Yeah, let's have a look. 8 more drones have been killed. This army looks very strong here. Nice fungal here by SERRAL, and he might do some mind control here, as yeah, ZEST has to pull back here against all of those units. Once again, his units are being split. He needs to be careful. He won't stand a chance against those Broodlords. He has to retreat. And there's even some long distance mining now going on here for ZEST. So yeah, what a crazy game here. Mass Broodlords it is of course here for SERRAL. SERRAL, however, not mining that much here. Tries to rebuild some of those hatcheries. But yeah, the pushes here are really strong. The upgrades are also nice here for those Zealots. And yeah, let's have a look. Finally things have settled down here a little bit. SERRAL still tries to control the middle of the map here. Zealots are just roaming around just to see where exactly another hatchery can mine here, of course. Great fungals, those Broodwars, great counter here against all of those units. As ZEST pretty much on the retreat here, losing however one stalker after the other. So yeah, this is why he went into mass Broodwars with some corruptors just in case there is some error. And of course this Nexus will be cancelled here, as yeah, the Zealots are now fighting those Ultralisk here. Still mass long distance mining here for ZEST. He has to guard this expansion. Let's have a look at SERRAL. I don't think he's mining at all. I look at the upper part here, he's only at 62 minerals, so no mining here from SERRAL. SERRAL in some serious trouble. Hold on, there is a little bit of long distance mining here for him, but really a hard game here for him. Still has those Broodlords, still has some corruptors, as he's going to perhaps try a flank here. Yes, indeed, he's going for that flank against those probes, and even having a great counter against those stalkers. Finally, the first broodlings are being spawned. Really nice stuff as the Nexus is finishing here. But yes, so many broodlings on the ground, and even the Nexus is taking some damage. In the back we also see some stalkers fighting those Ultra Lords here, as we have a nice coming here by those nice pull here by those stalkers, just blinking here forward, damaging those Broodlords. So the Broodlords of course not that mobile here, just find a nice spot here in the upper left part, upper right part, sorry. And yeah, we even have mind control against those Archons here. Of course he's going to snipe those Archons here. Really crazy game. Still some Broodlords do make it here alive, and those Broodlords of course that perfect counter here against ZEST. ZEST is also trying to move here forward with his Stalkers. Stalkers just sniping some units, but long distance mining here, some spores are being sniped, so ZEST on the retreat, but sorry, SERRAL on the retreat. But ZEST of course knows that those Broodlords aren't that fast here, so this is exactly why he's abusing this fact, and really smart, just blinking here forward, sniping building after building here. So SERRAL still very slow here, moves here forward, and remember he could also recall here those units into snipe building after building here. Those Broodlords still not making it here through. Really intelligent gameplay here by ZEST. He might even snipe one Broodlord or another here, just blinking forward onto him, and more buildings are being killed here by ZEST. And yeah, slowly but steadily we're closing at the end here of this game. What a crazy game here. Yeah, SERRAL has not rebuilt any base, and he's being revealed. He still has those gas chambers here up, so he's still into this game. He still has those spores walking around the map. They should be taking, no, they don't take damage. Look at that, they actually regenerate hit points here. I had no idea about this, so yeah. As SERRAL is now of course combining those buildings, these buildings will keep him into this game. And he even pulls some drones here, so it's pretty much throwing everything he has against ZEST. Just a couple of extractors here for SERRAL. Some Zerglings do try to do some damage, but of course the main attack point will be here, the upper right part now. Actually at this point, let's see, are the players going to meet ZEST still having those blinking stalkers here, as SERRAL pretty much has everything now here into his army composition. Infestors are still here, and we finally see a nice blink here forward by ZEST, sniping one Broodlord after the other, but also taking quite some damage here. Infestors are there with Fungals here, and even those drones are guarding here the back from SERRAL, so much damage is being taken here. However, the upper part of the ramp is in control here from SERRAL, and SERRAL is just damaging here ZEST quite strongly here. Some units coming from the back, but the drones do hold, and even those spores are here. Yeah, this is taking some damage. Some probes are being sniped here, and what a crazy game it looks like. If there is no army here, and yeah, sadly here for the Protoss there is no more supply. Just 24 supply versus 66 here from SERRAL. I believe that SERRAL somehow is going to win this game. Still has those Broodlords, he still has those Corruptors, Infestors, also so much important here with that mind control, with that fungal. Yeah, by the looks of it, what can ZEST do? He's going to try of course to snipe the buildings. He knows that of course sniping the buildings will bring him the victory, but there were those spores. Are they? There are those spores, so they still counts as a building. And yeah, it's not, it's going to regenerate each point. So yeah, really interesting stuff here by SERRAL, just keeping his spores next to his army. So this should bring him the victory. This is the army here from ZEST. I don't think he can somehow counter all of those Broodlords here. There isn't even drones here. And yeah, those infestors just so much strong here for SERRAL. What can ZEST do here somehow? Perhaps with, just in case SERRAL falls asleep somehow, he might win this game here. But I don't think that is going to happen here. ZEST very low on supply, 22 is not mining, 64 here for ZEST, strong army, and those cores so much important here for SERRAL. Such a smart gameplay here, uprooting those spores and bringing them with him into the army. I think it would have been fair that those spores would take damage over time, but no, they don't, even though they're not on creep. So SERRAL is just pretty much moving forward. This is the small army here from ZEST. SERRAL just slowly but steadily moving forward, killing building after building, having his spores with him, having those infestors, those broodlords. What can ZEST do? There are some zealots here being spawned, but yeah, against so many broodlords, and don't forget those infestors here as well. Fungus immediately being casted, and we might see some mind trick here. So yeah, it just has to be the GG, of course. What a crazy game. ZEST GGing out after killing pretty much all of the buildings here from SERRAL, even those extractors here. But in the end, SERRAL with a smart move, taking those spores with him, and just bringing him here the advantage. Even having those drones, of course, there were no more bases here. So such a crazy game here between these two both players. Still had no idea who would win it until I, of course, saw the spores here into the army from SERRAL. And what a crazy game. Infestors, so such an important unit to have against Protoss, with that mind control here, especially against those Archons, against those carriers. Really great unit to have. And of course Broodlords, perfect counter against Stalkers. Yeah, ZEST nicely transitioned from air into ground, but in the end SERRAL just playing very defensively, very patiently, winning here this crazy long game. Such a nice game. So yeah, once again guys, I hope you enjoyed this replay as much as I did. This is your host Tommy signing out.